Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Blissfully Bloom. I'm Victoria LeBlanc, a self-love and soulful coach, and I'm your host. The intention of this podcast is to guide women to fall in love with themselves, embody confidence, and drop the stories of not good enough. Your soul will awaken to the truth that you have always been worthy. In this remembering, you no longer wait for permission, validation, or acceptance. You choose yourself, and you become a woman who blissfully blooms like a rose, showing the world your authentic self, talents, and gifts because it's your birthright. Hello, beautiful soul. Happy Valentine's Day. I am very excited to bring you this Valentine's Day special episode. We are going to dive into how to romanticize your life. Romance, right? A topic that I feel we all have daydreamed about every now and then. This episode really inspired me because I've had some students today in our tutoring group that was like, I don't have a Valentine. And they looked really, really sad about it. And I told them, you know what? How about you be your own Valentine? And I kind of encouraged them a bit by telling them that they could be their own Valentine. They can be their own love. And I think we often forget about this. We might think, oh, if I don't have a partner, if I don't have a significant other, then there is no romance in my life. There can't be. How can there possibly be? There has to be somebody else who does those things for me. But that's not very true. We can have the power within ourselves to find a bit of romance in our lives, create little romantic moments for ourselves. And I think that's so powerful and so beautiful. So if you're listening and you may not have a Valentine this Valentine's Day, I hope that this episode really inspires you to practice self-love, because remember that it all starts with you. It starts with the foundation of love for yourself that you have, and then the beautiful and loving relationships will be magnetized to you, right? So let's go ahead and dive into this topic. I'm so excited. Now, romance might mean something different to you than it does to me. So maybe the first step would be to define what romance means to you. So maybe it's a feeling of warmth or excitement or curiosity or a bit of mystery that just is spiked with love and enthusiasm, and maybe even a little bit of light and love in the air. So romance can be whatever you like it to be, right? This can be your own unique definition. Now, once you have it thought out, I'm going to share with you 5 ways to romanticize your life. The question that I want you to reflect on is, what do you find yourself craving from another person? What do you find yourself wanting or desiring from a significant other? And how can you give those very things to yourself? How can you take aligned action and feel the way that you want somebody else to make you feel? What feelings can you create in your life? How can you romanticize your own life instead of relying on another person? Here's where you can pause if you want to journal on this. I thought this is a very great start because it's going to get you really thinking of ideas and getting inspired and really filled with excitement. One idea that I have is to light some candles. Seems super simple, right? Right now I have the ambiance, I'm setting the tone. I lit my candle before recording and really set my intention while lighting the candle. And it just creates a space of light and vibrancy and just nourishment in a way. It just soothes my soul. And I just love the look of a candle. It's like the beauty and the simpleness of it that I love. So you can use this idea literally anywhere in your house. You can light a candle as you read a book. You can light some candles during your bath time. Maybe you can even light a candle while cooking or while cleaning, right? The act of lighting a candle as I'm cleaning, I'm thinking, oh wow, yeah, this is setting some beautiful scents in the aroma. I have to get this place looking shipshape after this. So I just love the environment and the atmosphere that a candle creates in your room. Try it out. That is one idea. I didn't even plan for this, but that is just the flow nature of me. But I'm gonna go through the 5 scents. Now we went through your sense of smell, and of course with the candle idea you can use different scents. You can use diffusers, or you can light some sage, right? Just create those different scents in your environment. The next is going to be sense of touch. So I have just recently bought myself some silk PJs, and I was gifted a silk robe not so long ago. Oh my Lanta, when I tell you, it just makes the difference when you just feel on your skin the softness and the silkiness. Ooh, it's like on a whole other level than just 100% cotton, okay? And when you get into your robe or you get into your PJs, it's just this act of worthiness. I am worthy of feeling into this luxuriness into my clothing, right? I am worthy of surrounding myself and enveloping myself in this silk. And it's almost like a little cocoon wrap, right? So if you're not a fan of silk, what kind of textures do you love to play with? What kind of textures feel so amazing on your skin? You can even lotion your skin and really hydrate it, moisturize it, and not just, when you're romanticizing, not just, ooh, I gotta quickly put this on, blah, 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 blah. Not just going, I gotta get this on real quick. Really be gentle with it and feel into how it feels to massage your skin, to really get into the deep tissues and allow this moisturizer to do its magic, do its work. Now let's move on to taste. What kind of food categories are quote unquote romantic that you feel like you only put aside for when you go on dates, or if it's just between like you and your partner, or whenever you're venturing out and meeting new people? What kind of foods would you categorize as romantic? To me, I think of chocolates. I don't know why. Chocolate is just so romantic to me, and I have to eat a dark chocolate blueberry like every single day. I'm not even kidding you. I have packets of dark chocolate blueberries, and they are the bomb dot diggity. But it doesn't have to be what I like. You can maybe cook for yourself, cook a meal for yourself, and get out those fancy plates and silverware. Take the time for yourself to cook a well-balanced meal. I think that in itself is amazing. So imagine taking the time to find a recipe that you really enjoy, or even just going through different items in your pantry and just creating something out of the whim and just being really creative with it. And then when you're cooking for yourself, maybe even think of the little details that you didn't previously think of. Maybe it's just some new seasonings that you have yet to try, or maybe sprinkling a little zest on the top, or doing something and getting outside of your comfort zone a bit and trying something a little bit new, and see how that makes you feel. Now, it doesn't have to be fancy. The intention is to nourish your body in a way that fuels you and that energizes you and that gets you just feeling well nourished, right? So that is like the intention behind it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not aiming for perfection here when you're cooking for yourself. You're just aiming to feel good. So let's go ahead and move on to the next sense. Let's move on to sight. All right, with this, it's like, what do you want your eyes to notice? What do you want to see in your life? And this can go with your environment in your home. So maybe changing up a few things every now and then, and changing the look up in your room, or maybe adding some paintings or some artwork, finding those sacred objects, maybe some crystals that are just beautiful to look at, right? Or maybe oracle card decks. You may be adding some flowers to your environment, or plants. I mean, the list can go on, right? This really is going to depend on you, depend on what you are wanting to spice up in your life, what you are wanting to add and create more of. Do you want to be surrounded by the beach or a lake or trees or just mountains? And when I first moved to Colorado Springs, it took me a little bit of time to find the courage to go on some hikes by myself, but I ended up doing that. And let me tell you, when I go on an adventure alone and just admire the beauty of our world, it just creates a moment of mindfulness in my life. Like, it locks it into my memory, and I'm able to just go back and reflect on that little moment to myself that I had with nature. It's amazing, and it's romantic, let me tell you that. So, the very last sense that we're going to get into is sense of hearing. So, with this, what sounds do you want to hear? These sounds can be lovely, they can be soothing, they can be filled with just radiance and bliss. But what kind of sounds are you looking for? Sometimes I just play sound baths on Spotify, and I absolutely love that. Or meditation music on Spotify, and it really sets the tone for the atmosphere and the vibe that I set in the room, right? So how can you set a romantic vibe? What kind of music do you want to bring into your atmosphere? Do you want it to be more sensual, or upbeat, or light and free and flowy? It can really be up to you. And maybe with this, you create a playlist, a romantic like Romanticize Your Life playlist that you have in the background whenever you want to be in that space of romance. Okay, so some songs that come to mind, I'm gonna actually go into my playlist. Alright, some songs that come to mind are Cosmic Love by Florence and the Machine, Goddess Code by Lizzie Jeff, Wildflowers by the Waylon Jennings, Let's see. Take Up Space, Sis by Tony Jones. Dancing in the Moonlight. Little Moon by Gone Gone Beyond. River by Bishop Briggs. There's just so many, but those are just off of my playlist, my embodiment playlist that I have, that I feel like would be in the category of romantic. So I wanted to share just a few with you to get you inspired. But I hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode today. I sure enjoyed recording it. And speaking about romanticizing your life, there might be a part 2. I'm gonna say there's definitely gonna be a part 2. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure to screenshot the episode and tag me on your stories at blissfully.bloom and share your biggest key takeaway from this episode. And as always, if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate it, but I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye.